Several guys met, one girl and two guys. The girl recognized one of the guys and said, "So you're the infamous Jiang Lang, who destroyed many young masters in the Heavenly Empire. We'll deal with it soon." Jiang Lang, who had recently moved to that country, was already overjoyed, thinking that he had already become famous in that country. But the boy next to him, whose name was Qin Yan, told him that he should not rejoice, because he seems to be infamous. They went there together to register, since the previous time they were denied registration. But this time Jiang Lang showed a piece of paper, after which they were asked to register and heard. "Okay, take these 3 seals. The sleeping dragon battle meeting will begin in 3 days. Do not be late." After they took these cards, Qin Yan remembered that they still hadn't met the girl they met, so he asked her about her name. She answered him, "I am Meng Fei Lin. I'm from the Heavenly Empire. Nice to meet you. If there are no more questions, then I'm leaving. I'll find you on the day of the battle meeting." Qin Yan thought that Fei Lin would go with them, but she left separately from them. After that he wondered where they would live then. Jiang Lan then told him about his badge. Since he was a master inscription, his badge was supposed to provide them with accommodation and 3 meals a day. Qin Yan was surprised that his badge could be useful because he didn't know that. After they went to the place that they were allocated by his badge, he was in complete shock because they were given literally an apartment for 2. Qin Yan said to Jiang Lan, "Wow, can we live here for free?" To which he replied, "Of course, with this badge, and not only this can be done, you will soon find out that he is capable of much more. And so, but because I don't have a badge, I'll live with you." Qin Yan thought that Jiang Lin had only joined him for profit, but he tried to convince him otherwise, referring to the fact that the hotel outside was very expensive, and he was just a student. Then Jiang Lan suddenly remembered some business, and warned Qin Yan that he would return later today. Qin Yan became suspicious and thought that he would get into trouble. The action takes place in the Great Temple of Inscriptions. Lord Prince Qin Zhengfeng asked if Qin Yan had joined the Sleeping Dragon martial gathering, to which the servant replied that yes, and also Jiang Lang and another woman in a mask were with him. The prince said, "Qin Yan also wants to go to the Blue Star Palace. He only has 1 solar vessel and is still thinking about these things. Realm level of tempering the body. Do not underestimate it. My son Wei Chuan Kong was badly injured by this bastard. He is still in a coma. I hope the prince can avenge us." The prince told them not to worry, because in this meeting, he was going to catch Qin Yuyan and extract his last vessel. When this will happen, the prince will have 7 vessels of the solar spirit. Then he will become completely invincible. The prince told them to return first, since the Neo had his own business. When they left, he began to say, "I wonder why you are here, my friend. Please come down and tell me." The prince noticed Jiang Lan, who was hiding on the roof of the building they were in. He did not expect to be found, but went down. The prince remarked that it looked like he was strong enough to sneak through. Jiang Lang descended to greet Prince Qin. The prince stood up from his throne and said, "So you are Jiang Lang. Did Qin Yun send you to kill me? Can't Qin Yun himself come to me?" But Jiang Lang answered him not at all what the prince expected. He said, "Understand me correctly. No one sent me here. I just decided to test my strength. So you are just a tool to test my strength." After saying that, Jiang Lang instantly attacked the prince. But the prince noticed this and also instantly answered his attack. The prince's attack destroyed almost the entire palace, and Jiang Lang fled from him. Jiang Lang was quite strong, considering that the prince had to put a lot of his strength into the blow. Jiang Lang was injured, but managed to escape. Then he was convinced that the prince lived up to his reputation for sure. Jiang Lan needed to train in order to adequately compete with. At the same time, Qin Yan was fast asleep in his room. Jiang Lan 88 reached the house in which they remained to live and lost consciousness right on the threshold. Qin Yan, hearing the roar, woke up and immediately paid attention to his body. Jiang Lan was severely injured, but Qin Yan did not know who beat him so much. Then he thought that he had definitely found Qin Zhengfeng. Jiang Lan was strong, but he was still so badly beaten. How far did Qin Zhengfeng advance? Qin Yan would need medicine to heal his wounds, but luckily Qin Yan had a lot of potions. He took one healing potion that he used on Jiang Lan. Jiang Lan immediately woke up and thought he was being attacked, but it was only Qin Yan who used a healing potion on him. Qin Yan started a conversation. He said, Qin Zhengfeng's cultivation level is equal to yours. What do you think about it? He answered him, I won't be able to strike him because he has 6 solar spirit vessels. Qin Yan continued to ask, is he fully compatible with the vessels he received from me? Jiang Lan said that this process can only happen to people who are related by blood. All of Qin Yan's enemies were from his own family. How ironic. When all of a sudden, they both felt a murderous aura that was coming from somewhere outside. They immediately ran out into the street and noticed how a stranger landed, crushing all the ground under him. We saw this stranger before. He was with the prince. As he landed, he introduced himself as the Fire Master Mingzhong, who had come to retrieve the heads of Qin Yan and Jiang Lan. Qin Yan immediately thought that Qin Zhengfeng had sent him. Qin Yan was sure of his victory because they were alone, but Qin Yan was interrupted by his comrade, who said that he was badly injured, so he needed to sort it all out himself. Mingzhong attacked him. During the attack, Mingzhong accidentally hit Qin Yan's clothes that he recently bought, which made him so angry that he became numb with anger, and Mingzhong thought he was shaking in fear of defeat. Mingzhong rushed to complete what was supposedly the last attack, but Qin Yan knocked him out with one blow and yelled at him, shouting, You dare to tear my clothes! Mingzhong could not believe his defeat. Qin Yan was examining his clothes and decided that he would have to sew them up again, when suddenly Jiang Lan interrupted his thoughts, saying that the prince now knows where they live, so they cannot continue to stay there, but they didn't know where to go either. Then they decided to go to their dear comrade. They went to the female part of the inscription temple, while Fei Lin was taking a bath, but they did not know this, so they immediately broke into the female temple. And right from the doorway they asked her to allow them to stay with her for a while, but chairs flew into their faces. By the time they recovered, she had already managed to dress up, and refused their request, but asked why they came there. They told her that their location was discovered by Qin Zhengfeng, so they'd wanted to stay with her, because they had nowhere else to go. Fei Lin yelled at them, saying, Are you kidding me? Who wants to live with men? Jiang Lan interrupted her and said that the sleeping dragon battle meeting would start soon, so living together could help protect against others. Fei Lin then told them to follow her into the room, but they had to take care of the food themselves. The guys thanked Fei Lin, and she said she wanted to rest, so she sent them out. Going to the room, they saw that this room was more like a vault. Blue Star Palace descends to the mortal realm once every 10 years. The creator of Blue Star Palace, Emperor Liang Xiao, selects the best students from each academy. Each student goes to the inscription temple to enter the Blue Star Palace. At the palace, they are greeted by the manager of the Temple of the Inscription, who will also be the leader of the Tournament of the Sleeping Dragon. Because they entered this horizontal bar to enter the Blue Star Palace, they had to fight against the other teams so they could advance to the finals after passing all the trials. This tournament was based not only on their physical strength, but also on their ability to create talismans, medicines, tools, and even their knowledge of other cultivation research. To win the tournament, not only physical strength was needed. The Sleeping Dragon's combat bar was starting right now. Finally, it was the turn to speak to the judge. The judge was a pretty girl who appeared in the ring and greeted everyone. She asked everyone to look at the screen, which was the definition of who will fight against whom, so the teams do not have to do it on their own. In the first battle, the Vevlica Holy Academy team was fighting against the Light Martial Academy. The referee spoke into the microphone. Here is the first couple. I will ask both of them to enter the battlefield. The Light Martial Academy was led by masters who had a 6th level of body tempering, but against them, there was only one person from the Great Holy Academy who considered them trash. At the same time, our protagonists were walking towards the battlefield. Fei Lin walked in front and said, You are a lazy bunch, skipping such an important competition to sleep, and I had to come to wake you up. If we are late, it will be on your conscience. Qin Yan and Jiang Lan, thanks to the Fei Lin, slept on the cold ground in the firewood storage, so they managed to fall asleep only in the morning. Jiang Lan said that if they miss their draw, they will not be able to participate in the horizontal bar. Qin Yan was calm, because he decided to participate in this tournament, only in order to learn how to make talismans. Hearing this, Fei Lin grabbed him and started telling him, Qin Yan, your father and fiancé are waiting for you to save them, and your master is waiting for you to help her regain her pure name. So you must enter the Blue Star Palace and become stronger. Qin Yan didn't understand how Fei Lin knew about his sister-in-law, and Jiang Lan started laughing at him because he didn't seem to know that his sister-in-law had abandoned him. Fei Lin said that his sister-in-law was probably in trouble right now, but he did not understand what she was talking about. By the time they entered the temple where the fight was taking place, they thought that the fight was over. 3 at the head of a strong leader managed to lose to only 1 person. They begged for his mercy, but he said weaklings didn't deserve to live. After seeing the technique of the fighter who was in the ring, Qin Yan said that his technique was similar to that of Jiang Lan, or it seemed to him. But then Jiang Lan said that it was his brother Jiang Feng. His brother was in the 7th level of the body tempering realm. He was afraid that he might be stronger than then. Now that he has entered the Great Holy Academy, it looks like they will have great obstacles on the way. Fei Lin continued the conversation for him. Great Holy Academy is the best academy in Qin country. Only 1 person represents them in the tournament. Other academies also have their secrets. And now, the second battle has already begun. The results were already on the screen, and it was a spiritual food cooking battle. The participants were the Martial Arts Academy on the first side and the Jade Kirin Academy on the other. The Kirin is a mythical beast, half horse, half dragon. So, the judge asked all the participants in the current fight to enter the ring. Fei Lin didn't know that they might get caught in a cooking competition, so she asked the guys if they could cook, to which they said they could. Then Fei Lin even invited them, because she couldn't cook even the simplest dishes. And while all the guys at that time knew how to cook, the judge began to speak the rules. For both dishes, which will be prepared from the selected ingredients, 1 person or the whole team can be sent. The results will be determined by the judges. They took the stage, and their opponents decided that they looked so helpless that they would 100% beat them. Qin Yang in his half divided the tasks. Namely, he said, cooking will be occupied by Lan. I am confident in my cutting technique, so I will prepare the ingredients. Fei Lin interrupted him and said that this is not just cooking, because unexpected things will happen later, so he had to be able to use everything he has. But he did not understand what she was talking about. The judge asked to deliver the ingredients. They brought all the ingredients in a durable beetle shell. The judge continued to speak. She said, as you already know, the beetle is a rank 3 spiritual beast. Its shell is very hard. Cooks must have not only cooking skills, but also enough strength to break the shell. That's when the first problem in the cooking competition came to light. Their opponent panicked over hearing it, but Jiang Lan said that it might be a bit difficult. The opponents tried to break the beetle's shell with joint efforts, but instead, their knife broke into pieces. The same thing happened with Qin Yang. The referee added that if both teams failed to cut the shell, they would be eliminated from the competition. Qin Yan thought he should use the shockwave fighting spirit, but if someone suddenly recognized him, it might end badly, so he decided to hide it with a flaming fighting spirit combined with the sun energy technique, and use him in full force. He swung at the shell, and with one wave of his hand cut it into 2 parts. Fei Lin was shocked and said, Qin Yan can actually cut with 1 blow, but with only 1 solar spirit vessel? How did he do that? Jiang Lan said that this guy is really quite strong. He even underestimated him. Qin Yang cut the ingredients and gave them all to Jiang Lan. He immediately fried it and completed the competition. The judge announced to everyone that the Martial Arts Academy had finished its meal. The dish was approved by all the judges, so the Martial Arts Academy became the winners. Their victory was to attract the prince's attention. They thought that Zheng Feng would tweak something and decided to wait until it happened. And so the prince called the servant to him, who said that he needed to change the order and let the Martial Arts Academy compete with the Great Holy Academy. But the servant answered the prince, Phew, who do you think I am? I will not interfere in the martial meeting of the sleeping dragon. The prince said if he was afraid to see the heavenly Qin Empire, And he chuckled and said that not at all. The summon did not expect that the prince could join forces with the Qin Heavenly Empire to force him to interfere with the meeting. But the summon said that he was not interested in the meeting at all. He said that he liked his inscription temple. Then he realized that the summoned appeared there. Only because of the temple, he considered it arrogant. The summoned decided to attack the prince's servant, but the prince told him that it would be bad if they attracted someone's attention. The summoned one told him to relax, because now every inscription temple in the heavenly Qin Empire was his. Except for this steward, no one would be an obstacle. Very soon, every marked temple on this earth will be controlled by the Blue Star Palace. In the residential area, some noticed that they changed the order behind their backs. Some even thought that they were obviously used to remove Qin Yun. While the Empress was just watching and benefiting from it, they did not understand that the Empress saw them as mere pawns. The person who said this turned out to be called Jiang Feng. He was told not to hold back. It was not just an Empress, because there was an even stronger person behind her. He told him, "Let's forget about fame or honor. We just didn't expect your brother and my sister to be on Qin Yun's team." Fei Lin's sister said she thought no one would recognize her wearing a mask. How funny. But I want to know why your deep brother and my idiot sister with this garbage Qin Yun, who only had one solar spirit vessel left. The next day, the draw began again. The system chose the fighters. They turned out to be the Great Holy Academy and the Martial Arts Academy. Participants were asked to come. The sister met in the ring, but when Qin Yang asked Fei Lin who this girl was, she said she didn't know her. And Jiang Lan's brother said he was a disgrace to their family. It's time for the teams to decide the rules for the fight. Qin Yang and Jiang Lan's brother approached each other. His brother started a conversation. He said, "So you are Qin Yun. I heard about you, so young and already a hero." Qin Yun allowed Lan's brother to choose the rules for the battle. His brother suggested one-on-one battles. Then Qin Yun asked, "But how will they choose those who will fight first?" The ladies went first into battle. In the second round, there will be a battle between two brothers, and the third remaining fighter for Qin Yun was very interested in him, so they will fight one-on-one. Qin Yun agreed with Brother Lan's rules, so the battle was about to begin. The referee noticed that both sides seemed to have finished discussing the rules and called the start of the round. Looks like the sisters' last fight was 4 years ago. Fei Lin told her sister that she would stop the moment she thought she was overdoing it because she didn't want to hurt her. Her sister answered her, "Do you want to hurt me? Sister, although I was weak before, but now victory will be in my hands. I will prove to my father that I have surpassed you." Fei Lin's sister's name was Yu Mai. By the way, Fei Lin, seeing such a rare sight, realized that her sister had reached the 7th level of body tempering. Yu Mai attacked her sister with a purple flame beam. While she dodged, she rubbed her mask. But it seems that this was Yu Mei's intention to have her sister reveal her true form and not be able to use her mask anymore. Fei Lin warned her sister that she was no longer going to hold back, so she should take their battle more seriously. Mai thought that she had surpassed her sister, so she decided to use the previous attack again. But her sister immediately jumped towards Yu Mei and broke her pendant, thus telling her that she had lost and she had too many open spaces. Yu Mei didn't want to admit defeat, so Fei Lin instantly approached her and sent her sister to the ground with one attack. Upon her return, she heard a question from Qin Yun. Why did she hide her identity? She answered him that she would tell everything after the competition, because now they needed to focus on the battle. The judge announced the victory of the Martial Arts Academy in the first round. The prince did not expect that they would lose so easily in the first round, but the prince was reassured by the summoned, saying that if necessary, he would intervene in their fight. And now it was time for the second round. In the second round there was Jiang Feng from the Great Saint Academy, and against him was Jian Lan from the Martial Arts Academy. Jiang Feng was his brother's name. Jiang Feng said to his brother, "You became a traitor when you joined the Martial Arts Academy and destroyed the elders who tried to stop you. You have no forgiveness." After that, the battle of the brothers began. Jiang Feng was the first to attack. He swung his blade at his brother, but Jiang Lan was able to repel his attack with just one finger and also tore off the mask from his face. Jian Lan thought his brother was not that weak and warned him that if he didn't start fighting seriously, he wouldn't be able to defeat him. By what he said, he greatly angered his brother, that he answered him, saying that he would greatly regret his words. Jiang Feng used a strong sonic wave aura that was so strong that it ripped off all the clothes that were on him. He used this sonic aura to obtain a sonic sword. This sword was so strong, not because it dealt a lot of damage, but because its speed was comparable to the speed of sound. Jiang Feng swung this super fast sword, but Qin Yun managed to stop him. He could not let his teammate be destroyed, so he violated the rules of the competition. Zhai Yangfei noticed that Qin Yun had 2 vessels, one of which was a rare black martial spirit. It was bad because Qin Yun gave himself away. And then a summoned appeared who said, "You dared to break the rules of the competition. Quite a brave act. Moreover, you used a forbidden technique, for which you will be punished." The summoned grabbed Qin Yun and said that he should be punished for violating the rules of the tournament. But Qin Yun said that the right to inflict punishment remains with the inscription temple manager. He simply could not decide it himself, but the summoned one answered him that the inscription temple manager Duan Gang behaved inappropriately. So he was forced to be executed. Qin Yun immediately realized that something was wrong and asked who this stranger was, to which he replied, "I am the elder of the Blue Star Kongsing Palace, and I have every right to do so," immediately responded to his name. Elder Gongsing continued to speak. He said that he was sending Qin Yun to the Tower of Suffering for 10 years for his atrocities. The rules of the Tower of Suffering were personally set by the Azure Elder. If Qin Yun manages to get out on his own, then he can remain free, and until then he was sent to the Tower of Suffering. Kong Sing warned that now anyone who breaks the rules will face the same fate. Fei Lin fell to her knees and burst into tears. She couldn't believe what happened to Qin Yun. But Jiang Lan was sure that Qin Yun would be able to find a way to get out of there, so he comforted Fei Lin. Once in the Tower of Suffering, Qin Yun firmly decided that he would take revenge on the bastards from the Blue Star Palace for Duan Gang. And the prince was relieved. The prince was glad that Qin Yun got what he deserved. He asked Kung Sing, "There is no spiritual energy or food inside the tower. He will starve to death before he can get out. But why didn't you kill him right away?" Kung Sing then told him that there were too many people there, so it was impossible to just kill him. But confinement in the Tower of Suffering equals execution. The prince believed that Qin Yun might have aces up his sleeve. What if he has enough food to last 10 years? But then Kong Sing mentioned some unknown person to us and said that while he was there, he would never survive in the tower. He probably would not even be able to last 10 days. In this, our video has come to an end. Thank you for watching, dear friend. Don't forget to subscribe and watch the rest of the videos. See you soon.